Alright, so today is a few days after the fact, but took a little vacation, had my anniversary, got to relax a bit, and now I'm back to making these. The last game for spooky season this year was a treasured past for me, and that would be Dishonored. Now, we already got the Great Glaze-a-thon with Prey. It's not going to be the same here. I will say this, though. I forgot to mention this in the first time that I started glazing over Arcane Studios. This is one of the many things in the world we can thank the French for. Truly. That's where Arcane Studios started. And out of all the games that I've played from them, I don't think they really hit their stride until Dishonored. I've actually pulled up their video game list on the side. Arx Fatalis and Karma Star were kind of eh. Everyone remembers Might and Magic's Dark Messiah. That was a great game, and it did definitely cement a little legacy for them to, get them the push. But they didn't really drop the first banger until Dishonored 1, and that came out in 2012. Now, come around 2012, I'm just getting done with school. I'm done with my high school, I'm getting ready for college. And I kind of think that, the video game Wild West is done. Essentially, we're seeing a trend in 2012 where games stop being solo players, they're moving into multiplayer games. The single-player action-adventure RPG is dead, essentially. It was very, very Call of Duty lobby at that point in time. Battlefield was big, Call of Duty was big. I'm pretty sure the original Titanfall was out there somewhere. Heck, Destiny was about to be big. It's a lot of stuff happened to make multiplayer games big, and then out of nowhere, we get a really great single-player game. And I know there's always going to be the disagreeer somewhere in the world who's like, it wasn't that great. Let me define great in my word. To me, a great video game is one that you can pick up anytime for no reason whatsoever and just be like, you know what? I want to relive the adventure. What can I do differently this adventure? Games that are stuck on a rail kind of get the shunt. I mean, if you look at, I'll use them again, Call of Duty as an example. The single-player campaign for COD games has drastically toned down to the point where the single-player campaigns hardly exist. It's like a 5-hour sprint to the end. Because you're not there for the single-player campaign, you're there for sitting in multiplayer online lobbies or playing the zombies mode. That's what it's become. With games that you can go back to time and time again that are single-player, they have to have good replayability. They have to have, I won't say an ever-branching story questline, but different choices you can make that will affect either the mission it's on or the world it is in. Which is why Prey got such a glaze-a-thon for me, because you can do it where you go both Typhon and human, or just Typhon. You can choose to absolutely sacrifice everybody to the Elder Space Gods, or you can save everybody. It changes how the story outcome goes. Dishonored had that system, almost, and is why I consider it a great game. You can choose to play this game as the all-consuming asshole Corvo, and absolutely tear this island from the top down and just rip it to shreds. Make it the absolute worst place possible because you don't discriminate between friend or foe, it's just kill. Or you can do what I did on my playthrough and try to go for the cleanest hands possible and kind of become the ghost of Dunwall in a sense where you don't really get spotted as much, you don't really get seen except for here flashes, there flashes. You try and make things as limited to you as possible. You try and make it seem like the fates are conspiring against those who conspired. And I think that's what gives it such replayability. Arcane Studios is known for putting an insane amount of detail into their world, having crawl down hide spaces, high up roofs or high up areas, having the direct approach. There's so many options you can take that it makes it great. I'm impartial to a lot of games that try to be great and then have options that don't lead to options. I hate games that are like, hey, here's 4 dialogue options you get. Go ahead and pick any one of them. It doesn't fucking matter. This will change nothing. It's just how you feel you want to make your character feel and how they want to speak. Which, it's a cop-out, but some games have done it. I know games on a rail don't really give agency, but when a game on a rail is made good enough, it has its own agency. It's allowed to help you make those little choices. With Dishonored, there is a rail, but the rail is very loose. You have, in any area you go to, 1, maybe 2, set objectives. And as long as you complete those objectives, whichever way you choose to do it, that's that. Now, not featured in this playthrough was my prior playthrough of this game that I did maybe a year or 2 ago. It's one of those things, like it's like Skyrim. You just pick it up, and you're like, huh, guess it's been a while. I'll do another adventure. And I decided to play as Corvo the Ratmancer. I ignored basically every upgrade and saved up all my Bone Charm tokens and immediately just went straight for Summon Rats. And I dumped basically everything I had into the Summoning Rats ability, giving myself plenty of the mana bar, I guess would be the correct way to say it. Power bar, I guess. It was just rats. I didn't need weapons. I got rats. I would teleport myself up somewhere high, hide from the enemies, and make it so that it wasn't Corvo doing it. It was just an ungodly amount of rats. And I played the whole game as a Ratmancer, and within like 2 levels, because you just absolutely murder everybody, the game basically is already so far stuck onto the dark path that I don't think I could have redeemed it. I felt bad, because without spoilering too much of an old-ass game, more than 10 years old, if you make it to the end of the game, the final boat ride with Samuel, he basically tells you, get the hell off my boat, I hope I never see you again. You are a plague on this city. Now, the plague part wasn't exactly rat intended, but it fit the bill. And I felt so bad just with how I was spoken to that it kind of reinforced my whole I play games to be good guy. Like, I've said it in previous videos, I don't know which one, but people who go around the map absolutely murdering everybody for no other reason than they are just the weird, trippy kind of psychopath that has the in-video game need to murder people for no reason. It's people like that that make news outlets go, ew, gamers are bad. Well, I felt bad after playing as Corvo the Ratmancer, and I try to make good runs in video games as often as I can, not because the dialogue options hurt my feelings or I hurt the NPC's feelings. They're lines of code. I'm a person outside of those lines of code. Those two things can't directly interact like that. Just how piss poorly your character gets treated on any occasion where you go with the ultra evil run, the developers definitely try to make you think about it. They're like, huh, so you got detention. They try to make you feel really bad about it, and they did it successfully. Samuel is the only guy in the game willing to stick his neck out for you, save your buns, and even after all of that, the fact that he's willing to take you to your last stop and then tell you to fuck off says a lot. I mean, yes, there was the you had to get there development part of the story, but yikes. This time around, I went completely opposite. Normally, in a game of Dishonored, I will kill if it is necessary, but I try to go with the cleaner option. Like, if someone falls off a roof after I give them a sleeper dart, it's, you know what, I tried. It was unavoidable, whatever. I went out of my way in this one to make sure I did as little damage as possible at any given moment. And I think there was only 2 people that died the entire game, even though it was supposed to be a clean hands run. I whacked a barrel, and it blew up, almost killing me, and killing the 2 guys that I had just knocked out. So, I failed clean hands, but at the same time, I made an oopsie about something that I never really messed with. It was a challenge. I've never done a full clean hands exit. I've also never had it be low chaos going into that final island. I've always had, like, medium to high chaos just because of killing when you need to. The chaos meter really isn't like a 50-50 like you would think a meter would be. It's more like an 80-20, like a good beef. You're either really, really good, and the 20% of the stuff you did wrong overpowers that 80%. So, getting to the island and seeing things not destroyed was interesting. I have now gotten every kind of ending you can get for the game, and it felt not so good getting the ultra good ending. Like, I feel like the medium chaos ending where it's like, hey, look, people are going to remember you, but not as the bad guy, but they'll remember you for what you did, is This game did a lot to push the narrative, make you feel bad for being evil, but the game did not push a high narrative, make you feel good for being good. The game definitely lingers on the fact that you were almost too good if you go with a clean hands run, versus if you did like a medium honor run where they're just kind of like, yeah, you did what you had to do, but it all worked out in the long run. You did things for the betterment. The clean hands run, they're like, yeah, everything turned out perfectly fine. The end. Happy story. Leave. Go. You're done. They kind of throw you out as quickly as possible. I mean, Dishonored isn't exactly a long game. There's not tons of stuff to do, but, you know, there's side quests. There's little optional paths to go on to get extra bone charms or the whale bones for upgrades. I kind of didn't do most of any of those, because every time you do those, there's usually a, hey, you gotta kill these guys, or blah, blah, blah. The clean hands run took me under 5 hours. I sat down one night, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can record this thing in one shebang. Fun fact, I was able to record it in one shebang. I remember Dishonored being like an 8 to 9 hour game, but that was when I was still, you know, doing all the side quests, poking around the corners, looking for free stuff, extra money. And it is a night and day difference how the game treats you and how you treat the game using an honor run versus a dishonor run. Hardy har. And it was, honestly, it was an okay experience. This game is not as fun as I remember it in my head. I remember playing Dishonored, and it was always like a cool spy-like rogue adventure game where you could play it like the Deus Ex series, where it's like, oh man, I can go crawl around up here. I can be the vent gremlin. I can get people before they know where it's coming from. And it was always a fun experience growing up. I went back and did the Ratmancer thing. It felt bad, but that still took like 7 to 8 hours to do because I was doing all the side quests. This time, doing the clean hands run, under 5 hours, relatively quick. I mean, yes, I played it 2 years ago, but prior to that, it's like 2 to 3 year gaps where I don't touch this game. And the fact that I remembered as much as I did says how beloved the game was. It wasn't a, oh man, I forgot how to solve this puzzle. It's like, oh hey, I know who's got the key. I know kind of where it is. I know where these obscure ledges are. I don't know. Would I play it again? Absolutely. This game goes on sale all the time, so I encourage, if you've never actually played Dishonored, give it a whirl. If you like Prey, you'll most likely like Dishonored. It's a choices game. It's a game about your ethics. It's a game that lets you do what you want to do. You can go through the entire game trying to not be seen ever, and you're going to have to reload a lot of checkpoints. A lot. I have seen people do it where they go clean hands, undetected, absolute speedrun goblin mode where they don't miss any loot either, and it takes them about the same amount of time it took me just to do clean hands. So there are people out there who have perfected the art of playing this game because it's a game that you can do that on. I will hopefully have more stuff coming up soon here. I just wanted to get this out of the way while I had some spare time. Honestly, it's a 9 out of 10 game. It has so much replayability, so many different ways you can play it. It's just good fun. And we need more one-player games like this that are just good fun. Games you can always go back to. And we're seeing less and less of that every day, so I keep my hope up that more will show up. Until the next time, though, have a good one.